Hi, my name is Tim Lim. With Lim Consulting Services. I'm a digital consultant. I've been consulting for about a decade now, helping candidates, elected officials, organizations, advocacy groups use digital platforms to better engage their constituents as well as voters. So today I'm going to talk to you a bit about how to leverage social media, particularly leveraging social media for your engaging with constituents, being able to deliver them information, getting feedback from them, and just thinking of social media as another platform, another way to be able to effectively engage your constituents. So what I want to start with is to dispel this notion that if you're going to be engaging in social media, that you have to, be some sort of viral expert, that everything you write gets shared, a million times, etc. I think that's a notion that works for a couple very popular celebrities, but in reality, social media and digital platforms have become such an integral way of how we communicate and receive information that really it's just a core way that you can use to be able to deliver that information, and to also figure out what's on top of minds of your constituents, and figure out what what are they caring about, what are the issues that they want addressed. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some best practices, platforms, and go through a lengthy list of don'ts, which there's several of those that we'll go over. The first rule, and the rule that I tell most of my clients, is be authentic. Don't try to be someone you're not. Don't try to overreach. Let your voice be heard online, and don't try to do too much. I mean, that's the whole point, is you're not trying to go viral. You're not trying to make sure that you get 100,000 views on a video. A lot of cases, when you're getting 100,000 views on videos, that's for bad reasons. But really, this is really important, because people can tell, right? People's people's kind of radar, or when they're observing content, they could tell when something doesn't feel authentic, or when something does not feel like it's true to who you are. And so don't be someone you're not. If you're not that witty, viral, teenager, then don't be it. Don't focus too much on trying to be that. I think that's what a big mistake that we see a lot of elected officials try to do, which is they're trying to be the next viral sensation. And as I mentioned before, that's something that in a lot of cases can be a bad thing and not a good thing. So as part of that notion of being authentic and being true to who you are, that's the same approach that you should have to how much time you're spending on these platforms. If you are starting from scratch and you've never posted anything before, you don't know how these platforms work, take it gradually. It should be an incremental process. If you try to do too much, the results can just pretty much be a huge drain of time and resources that you didn't have to be. So the same approach that you would take to having that authentic voice online, it should be the same approach you should have to how much time and resources you should put towards it. Now, this is not to say you should put zero time and zero resources to it. As I mentioned, this is digital, and social media is an effective way to engage with constituents today. This isn't like even 10 years ago, when the media consumption rates were not as saturated with online content as it is today. I mean, everyone is online. Everyone's spending time consuming information and talking to people online. So it's really important that you are able to engage with with constituents, but you can do that in a way that's informative, and that's really giving them information and engaging with them in a way that's impactful. So I talked a bit about, making sure that you're authentic, making sure that, you're putting the right time and resources to these platforms. What are these platforms? What am I talking about? Where are you going to spend your time? You might hear about platforms like Snapchat or TikTok. That's advanced. That's for a different training. The ones that you should probably concentrate on for now are Facebook, which also will include Instagram and Twitter. And if you really want to think about how to differentiate the two, Twitter is a great news service. If you want to break news, or if you want to get a statement out, or if you want to get a quick reaction to something, that's what Twitter is good for. A lot of reporters and elites are on Twitter, and will take statements on the record through Twitter as well. Facebook and in particular Instagram is probably really effective at getting constituents feedback and engaging with them. So if you want to tell them about a new benefit, or if you want to tell them about a area of concern, that's something that I would post on Instagram or Facebook to make sure that people get that information. Now, with all of these platforms, elected officials do have the opportunity to be verified, and to have, and in certain cases like Facebook and Instagram, to have your own page. So if you go to their websites, or if you look for the government portions of their websites and reach out to them, you can get your own government page. Your predecessor probably had one. And if they didn't, then you can set one up. It's fairly easy to do, and they do want elected officials to use the platform more, so they will help you and handhold you through the process. By getting verified and by being able to have these dedicated pages, then people will start following you, and constituents start following you, and constituents will be able to then get that information and be able to use it. So yeah, think of Facebook, Instagram, more grassroots, more community-based, to be able to get that information out. Twitter, much more geared towards reporters, elites, influencers, things like that. So having talked a bit about these platforms and kind of how you can use them for benefits, let's talk about things you shouldn't do. And this is where we can spend a lot of time, and can be much longer than this training, but I wanted to just cover a couple things that will help you avoid pitfalls. So first, don't engage trolls. Don't engage trolls. Don't engage trolls. It's kind of a mantra, because you will not be able to make everyone happy. Okay, by trying to make everyone happy, you're gonna end up making no one happy. So it's really important that as you see comments come in, and you see people comment, people posting, if it's negative, make sure that you're not going for they said type of exchange that can lead to those bad viral incidents that we talked about, but two, they will never stop. I mean, these are folks that will keep going. And so it's really important to be able to look at everything in context and see whether or not, if this one comment represents, what most constituents are saying, or it can be taken on its own. There is a point where trolling turns into harassment. And that's obviously something you have to be aware of. And if it does approach harassment or threatening of any sort of threatening, then you want to report that to the platforms. You want to make sure that that's investigated, and then those comments are shut down. But trolling and folks who are, trying to get you to engage them, that's what they're trying to do. They are trying to get you to engage, and then that's when we get into the things I talked about earlier about spending way too much time and way too much effort, when really the goals here is to engage in an impactful manner, getting feedback, getting information out to folks, and seeing what's important to them. So once again, don't engage trolls. If it approaches to harassment, make sure that's reported. Second is, don't overreach when we talk about content. There are folks who think, I have to have a meme, or I have to have some sort of GIF, or I have to have some sort of really witty comeback or witty thing that happens when something really cool happens. There are folks who just have an innate ability to do that and will be able to be getting that viral content out. That's not your job. Your job is to represent the constituents that elected you. And so what they need from you and what they want from you, right, is information and help when they need it. And that's how you can really use social media, whether it's asking people who if they require assistance with rent assistance, if they need help filling out forms, if they need help getting through some sort of process. These are the places and these are the opportunities where you can really see where online engagement can be useful. So it's constituent services. It's also that awareness of what's happening with your constituents and understanding and getting a feel for what they're talking about, what their concerns are. But it's really important that you're not trying to break records, because I think there could be a lot of focus on that, and therefore it kind of distracts from the ultimate purpose of serving the constituents. Now, a lot of the folks that are probably watching this video will say, well, I'm like a team of one, or I have like one person, right? How am I supposed to do all this? It goes back to that first lesson of being authentic. You should be putting the time and the effort in that seems, one, right to you, and also that is within the realm of possibility with the resources and time that you have. Like I said, if you are thinking about this as a constituent services or constituent communications platform, this is just another mode, right, for you to be able to talk to folks. And so if the same way that you would be doing an interview with a TV station, or the same way that you'd be, talking to a newspaper reporter, put something on print, or the same way that you would send out, a piece of constituent direct mail, right? This is how you should look at the digital platforms, is that you would be posting it on Facebook, posting it on Twitter, responding to constituent concerns, giving constituent opportunity to reach you through these platforms if they need help on something. And if you're getting a flood and you just can't take, if you're getting a flood of inquiries, you can say, thank you, folks. Like, I'm going to be addressing these one by one. I will get to you as fast as possible. If there's a delay, it's because I'm going to be responding to these as fast as I can. So it's okay to be honest that this is you talking, this is you engaging with them. But like I said, this should be looked at as part of the overall communications program. This should be looked at as a really important part of how you are engaging with constituents. So that's how much time and effort you should put into it. Is that it's not that you have to hire a whole digital team, though if you have the resources, please do so, because that's really important. But it is important that it is considered as an integral part as you're putting together in your head the communications program for how constituents are engaged. That's where that's kind of the overview. There's obviously a lot more that I can get into, and there's obviously a lot more advanced tactics and things to be on the lookout for. But that's for folks who, if you want to get involved, you want to learn more, please reach out. My email is tim@ulcs.com. As I mentioned, Tim Lim. You can find me online, and happy to answer anyone's questions if you reach out. And thank you for all that you do, and thank you for all the effort you're putting into representing these constituents. This is obviously one of the hardest jobs out there in this type of environment. And so hopefully this helps in some way. And looking forward to answering any questions that you might have after you watch this video. Great.